This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.
The importance of Wii Sports is hard to quantify to anyone who wasn't around during the fervor of the mid-2000s. It was a foundational, industry-changing game, perhaps the last killer app for a console ever. It sold more than 80 million copies, making it the best single-platform release of all time, and placing it in the top 5 for sales overall in video game history. Sure, that number is inflated because Wii Sports was a pack-in game for the Wii in most of the world, but to own a Wii meant you probably wanted to play some bowling or tennis. The series continued past the 2006 Wii launch game with 2009's Wii Sports Resort, showing off Nintendo's Wii Motion Plus controller add-on and Wii Sports Club existing on the Wii U in one of the weirder release strategies Nintendo has implemented. If you don't recall, Wii Sports Club was split into 5 individual releases of the original 5 Wii Sports that you could buy outright or rent for a limited time. Then they were all collected in a physical release after they all came out, and if you're trying to complete your physical Wii U collection after the eShop was announced to be closing down in 2023, you have likely learned that Wii Sports Club in physical form is pretty expensive. Now, after nearly a decade, Wii Sports returns in Nintendo Switch Sports. It might not retain the familiar Wii branding, but we all know what this is. It's Wii Sports, baby. As we get ready for the grand return of one of the best-selling games ever, let's rank the 15 previous Wii Sports sports. Number 15, Wakeboarding. If there's something I learned in setting out to rank these sports, it's that maybe Wii Sports Resort has some duds. One of those duds is assuredly wakeboarding, which is a neat idea at a glance. You hold the Wii Remote on its side and tilt left and right, trying to time jerky movements with the boat's wake to do some sick tricks. Then, while in the air, you want to align your board with the water to boost and keep your combo going. All there is a timed high score mode, and well, that's basically it. Like everything in Wii Sports Resort, it shows off the precision of the Wii Motion Plus, but it's not much more than a tech demo. Number 14, Canoeing. A similarly tech demo-like event is Canoeing. There's a novelty to using the Wii Remote as a paddle, but it gets old relatively quickly. I do find it to be equal parts hilarious and maddening in multiplayer, especially as you all try to unify your movements. Canoeing is almost more fun as a tool to explore Woohoo Island than as a competitive mode. I feel like in an alternate reality, there's some late-gen Wii game that made use of the Motion Plus as a paddle in the ocean in the middle of some Zelda game. Number 13, Power Cruising. For better or worse, this is the closest we have gotten to a new wave race in 20 years and counting. Unfortunately, if this was the barometer for the quality of a new wave race, we would all go home very disappointed. You hold the Wii Remote and nunchuck facing each other like they were handlebars, but it's weird because one part of the pair is more responsive than the others, so turning with this setup is a bit awkward. The feeling of building your boosts in a rhythm with properly timed wrist remote twists is great, however. Much like canoeing, it's a little more enjoyable as a way to explore the water around Woohoo Island. Number 12, Cycling. I find cycling to be similar to power cruising in execution and quality, but having the main solo mode in cycling actually be a race and not a high score mode is just more fun. You use the Wii Remote and nunchuck and just paddle them up and down like you're pedaling a bike. There's also a whole stamina system where you can't pedal too fast for too long or else you'll get out of breath. You can, however, draft behind other bikers to coast and regain stamina. There's also wind that can impact how you steer. Cycling overall has more nuance and complexity than a lot of the sports behind it on the list, which is why even if I think it's just okay, it still more than earns its keep on this list. Number 11, Air Sports. Highlighted in the introduction to the game, Air Sports makes for a clever way to introduce the nuances of Wii Motion Plus movement, but overall, skydiving is a nothing burger of a mode. Air Sports does hide 2 sneaky good additions to Wii Sports Resort with Island Flyover and Dogfight. Island Flyover is where you just hold the Wii Remote like a paper airplane and fly all around the island, discovering all sorts of hidden nooks and crannies around Woohoo Island in different environments. Dogfight is a 2-player only mode where you use the same control method to engage in some light balloon popping mayhem. It's not that fleshed out, but it's amusing. This is all, of course, a precursor to another Woohoo Island game, the unsung 3DS launch title Pilotwings Resort, which expands on these flight concepts and, in my opinion, is a pretty damn good game. Number 10, boxing. Finally, we take a break from the Wii Sports Resort exclusives and move on to boxing, one of the original games. Boxing seems like a natural extension of the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, using each controller to represent an arm. Executing a well-timed jab or hook is fun and rewarding, but there's a little bit too much dopey chaos in boxing for it to be a long-lasting multiplayer staple. It being lower on the list isn't a total indictment. I had a lot of fun with boxing on Wii still, but let's just say it makes sense that Nintendo brought back Swordplay for Switch Sports as opposed to boxing. Number 9, basketball. I'm likely higher on basketball than most, and admittedly, I'm biased towards it because I've played a lot of the 3-point contest with my dad. This feels more mini-gamey than some of the higher-ranked sports, but there's an enjoyable rhythm to how you shoot here. It's all about falling into that pattern in the 3-point shooting contest, where you press the B button to grab a ball and then go through the arc in the air to time your shot with how your Mii jumps. The pickup game mode is pared down in a similar way to baseball, built to highlight specific interactions that do a good job of representing the game in a limited capacity. It's fun to time a steal, and it's rewarding to mess with the AI and get an open lane to dunk. Also, blocking shots with your dumb Mii face is always funny. I almost went on a soliloquy about how I wish these basketball controls had a second life in another game, but I think they wouldn't really work if you put more detail to them. Let's hope the way Nintendo implements soccer in Switch Sports has higher potential than this. Number 8, Frisbee. Frisbee is one of the more varied modes in Wii Sports Resort, likely because after Nintendo paid to use the term Frisbee, they wanted to get their money's worth. The first mode, Frisbee Dog, is best as an introduction to throwing a Frisbee and not much more. I'll admit, I do love seeing my little Mii dog do some sick disc catches, but there isn't a lot of long-term enjoyment here. Thankfully, there's also Frisbee Golf, or Frolf, or Disc Golf, or whatever you want to call it, where you play on the same courses as regular golf and resort, but instead of swinging clubs, you toss a disc around. As evidenced by the fact that golf is still to come on this list, Frisbee Golf doesn't surpass the original, but it's still a good addition to Wii Sports. Number 7, Baseball. Baseball in Wii Sports was simple and effective, letting you swing the Wii Remote like a bat and pitch with enough trickery to make it a good multiplayer war of the minds. It's a great distillation of the sport in a pared-down format. It also was one of the sports brought to Wii U and Wii Sports Club, and that's where baseball significantly evolved. Hitting was always intuitive with the Wii Remote, so that didn't get touched, but pitching now makes use of the gamepad. It's a little awkward to get used to because the whole throwing motion is not something you really do anymore. Instead, you hold the gamepad up and aim with that, select pitches, and throwing less like Wii Sports and more like a marriage of that in a more traditional baseball game. It's not bad, but it might be needlessly complex for something that should be focused on being pick up and play in either form. Baseball is fun, but maybe the gamepad implementation wasn't for the best. Number 6, Table Tennis. I'll be honest, I wrestled with actually putting this higher than tennis. It might be a little redundant after tennis, but table tennis is something distinct enough even if the basic idea is the same. I have a lot of good memories of frenetic versus matches, and it's a great showcase for the ability to add finely tuned spin to your shots with Motion Plus. The fact this caps out at 2 players might be the difference here as to why tennis is, well, the next highest ranked game on this list. Number 5, tennis. Tennis is one of the clearest examples of how brilliant the Wii Remote was at launch, and maybe culturally the most important Wii sport of them all. That being said, it has enough detractions that made me rank it lower, namely that there's always been some amount of trouble bouncing between forehands and backhands, and the lack of player control can sometimes be maddening. Still, I'd be silly not to give tennis credit for being an electrically fun entry point into motion control gaming. Anyone who played Wii during its height likely had at least one holiday where you had a family group with decades in between them, riotously following some furious tennis games. Number 4. Archery. Archery is one of the most complicated games in all of Wii Sports, but it also might be one of the coolest. Holding the Wii Remote up like a bow and then using the nunchuck to knock an arrow back and aim is something that immediately felt great back in 2009, it still feels really dang good now. This would probably be higher if there was a little bit more to it than target practice. Though I guess I'd argue the little bit more to it came to life in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword 2 years later. Archery and the next sport on the list definitely feel like the foundation for Skyward Sword. Number 3. Swordplay. This is the highest ranking Wii Sports Resort exclusive, and that makes sense because this was one of the showpieces for the 2009 Wii game. First, it has that instantly great feeling of holding a Wii Remote like it is a sword, seeing your movements be relatively accurately translated. There's also the light strategy of sword dueling as well as the quick precision of speed slicing. Even the Swordplay Showdown is fun, letting you take on computers in a light horde mode. Swordplay is one of the best additions in Resort, and I'm happy to see it back in Switch Sports as the newly termed Shambara. And real ones know that it influenced that great Zelda game in Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land is eternal, and it rules. Number 2. Golf. Swinging the Wii Remote like a golf club has felt good for more than a decade, and it truly was one of the most revelatory aspects of Wii Sports for me initially. It helps that I actually play golf in real life from time to time. I'm always mad and impressed when it picks up my actual slice when I swing. Golf with regular controls is a great video game, but having the intuitive motion controls make it more challenging in some ways, and overall just very fun. There was a knock on golf in Wii Sports, and honestly might be why it's not at the top of the list. It's that there are games that outdo its motion controls. Heck, back when Wii Sports Resort came out, a Tiger Woods game from EA Sports launched before it, complete with great Wii Motion Plus support. And drumroll please, if you did the process of elimination, you already know what's happening. Number 1, bowling. Bowling is the king. I don't remember if it was the first Wii Sports game I played, but it was definitely the one I spent the most time playing with friends and then playing online in Wii Sports Club. It's also, we can't talk about the Switch Sports playtest, but bowling across Wii Sports, Resort, and Club is incredible. It mimics the real feel of bowling in a way that has honestly replaced my need to go to actual bowling alleys. And as the technology improved, so did the way Wii Remotes read your motion and spin. Throw in some of the quirky special modes like 100-pin games, and you have the best Wii sport. And that's the list all ranked up. Let me know what you think of this list in the comments. I'm sure someone has a passion for wakeboarding that I simply don't. I could also hear some arguments for people tossing tennis up at the top. I'm earnestly curious to see if Switch Sports changes my opinion of tennis, bowling, or swordplay. I'm also looking forward to seeing how soccer, badminton, and volleyball fit into the tapestry of Wii sports. They look like they could be deeper than some of the gimmicky one-note Wii Sports Resort games, but we won't fully know until we get to check out all of them when Switch Sports comes out in April. Thank you for watching here at Nintendo World Report TV. Be sure to check out the rest of our content, and until next time, I'll see you on the bowling alleys and tennis courts. Bye.
This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.